The silence in the glass conference room atop a Beverly Hills skyscraper is so thick you could cut it with a knife. Heavy curtains block the golden California afternoon light, while only the cold glow of LED lamps illuminates Angelina Jolie's tense face. Dressed in a severe black suit that reflects the gravity of the moment, the actress and human rights activist sits before a white marble table, surrounded by a team of international lawyers and private investigators whose faces mirror the same iron determination that characterizes their client. Spread across the table with military precision are hundreds of documents, photographs, digital storage devices, and files that appear to contain secrets capable of shaking the foundations of global power. Angelina, her green eyes fixed on the camera broadcasting live across multiple digital platforms, takes a deep breath before speaking the words that will change everything. For years, as part of my humanitarian work with the United Nations, I have witnessed injustices that go beyond what the general public can imagine. But what I discovered about Sean Combs and his global network transcends any entertainment scandal. Her voice, usually warm on red carpets, now sounds like tempered steel. We're not just talking about the music industry. We're talking about human trafficking, international money laundering, and a corruption network that extends from Los Angeles to the darkest corners of the world. The financial web unravels. The first bomb explodes when Angelina lifts a folder marked with the confidential seal of an international organization. "These documents," she says, her hand trembling slightly with adrenaline, "were obtained during a humanitarian investigation in Southeast Asia. They show financial transfers from companies linked to Sean Combs to front organizations in Cambodia, Thailand, and the Philippines. The numbers on screen are astronomical. Millions of dollars moving through a network of offshore accounts to destinations that, according to the documents, operate entertainment centers employing minors." In 2019, Angelina continues, her voice gaining strength as she narrates, "During a human trafficking victim rescue mission in Cambodia, we stumbled upon something unexpected. One of the victims, a 16-year-old girl named Shrey Peach, told me about private parties financed by powerful men from America, where she and other minors were transported for entertainment. Shrey Peach's image appears on screen, her face blurred to protect her identity, but her eyes reflect trauma no human being should experience." Angelina's lead investigator, former FBI agent Marcus Chen, takes the floor. His 20 years of experience tracking international criminal networks is evident in every word he speaks. "We followed the money trail," he says, pointing to a complex diagram on screen that looks like a spider web map. "The transfers always followed the same pattern. First to legitimate entertainment companies in the United States, then to consulting firms in Switzerland, after that to accounts in the Cayman Islands, and finally to humanitarian organizations in Southeast Asia that turned out to be fronts for trafficking operations." Audio evidence that chills. The second revelation is even more devastating. Angelina presents audio recordings obtained during rescue operations, where voices with American accents discuss special merchandise and exclusive entertainment in language that, under forensic analysis, reveals direct connections to Diddy's inner circle. "These conversations," explains voice analysis expert Dr. Sarah Martinez, "were recorded at a private resort on a Philippine island during a joint operation with Interpol. Spectral analysis confirms that one of the voices belongs to someone from Sean Combs' close circle. The impact is immediate and devastating. Social media explodes with hashtags like #Angelina Exposed and Diddy Global Network, while international news channels interrupt their regular programming to cover the revelations in real time. In New York, stocks of companies linked to Diddy plummet in the stock market, and in Los Angeles, a group of protesters gathers outside Bad Boy Records offices with signs demanding justice. The photographic evidence. The third bomb arrives when Angelina reveals photographs taken during undercover operations. The images, though censored to protect victims, show parties on luxury yachts and private villas where recognizable figures from American entertainment appear alongside Asian businessmen and minors. "These photographs," Angelina says with contained fury that makes her voice tremble, "were taken by infiltrated investigators over a 3-year period. Each image represents a destroyed life, a stolen dream, a childhood lost forever. The details that emerge read like a spy novel, but with real and devastating consequences. The network operated with military precision. Victims were identified in orphanages and refugee centers, then selected for artistic opportunity programs that turned out to be fronts for their exploitation. Documents show the operation generated approximately $200 million annually, money that was laundered through investments in luxury real estate, art, and film projects. The political connections. Most disturbing, Angelina continues, holding a document that makes her hands visibly shake, is that this network didn't operate in secret. They had political connections in multiple countries, bribed immigration officials, and had contacts in the highest spheres of power. The document reveals names of politicians, judges, and businessmen who apparently received regular payments to facilitate operations and guarantee discretion. Marcus Chen then presents the most devastating financial analysis. In the last 5 years, he explains while projecting complex graphs, we've tracked over $800 million moving through this network. Money flows from the United States to Asia, then returns laundered through investments in Hollywood, Manhattan real estate, and private art collections. The graphs show a network so complex it seems designed by criminal geniuses, with layers of legal protection that have kept the operation running for over a decade. Survivors speak out. The fourth revelation comes when Angelina presents video testimonies from victims who have managed to escape. Their faces are hidden, their voices distorted to protect their identity, but their stories are consistent and heartbreaking. They promised I would be a star, says a voice that appears to belong to a young teenager. They told me I would work with famous musicians, that I would have opportunities other kids only dream of. Instead, they turned me into a slave. Another victim, with a voice reflecting years of trauma, describes parties where powerful men from America selected minors as if they were choosing merchandise from a catalog. The master file. The climax of the revelations comes when Angelina presents what she calls the master file, a hard drive confiscated during a Manila raid containing videos, financial transactions, and correspondence documenting 5 years of operations. This file, she says, holding the device like sacred evidence, contains enough evidence to prosecute dozens of individuals in multiple countries. Names you would recognize, faces you've seen on movie screens and magazine covers. Investigators reveal that the network used international music festivals and concert tours as cover to transport victims. Entertainment events were the perfect front, explains Dr. Martinez. While the public enjoyed the music in private hotel rooms and yachts anchored in international ports, an exploitation industry developed that generated fortunes built on human suffering. Global shockwaves. The global impact is immediate and seismic. Interpol announces it will open investigations in 12 countries, while the FBI confirms that several individuals are being monitored as part of an ongoing operation. In the Philippines, authorities conduct simultaneous raids on 3 locations linked to the network, while in Cambodia, the government announces the formation of a special task force to investigate local connections. Angelina's revelations go beyond typical celebrity scandals. This is not entertainment, she says, looking directly at the camera with intensity that pierces through the screen. This is a crime against humanity. These are not rumors or tabloid speculation. These are real victims, real crimes, and real evidence that demands real justice. The corporate structure of evil documents show the network operated with a complete corporate structure: recruitment, logistics, finance, and crisis management departments. They had lawyers specialized in international law, accountants expert in tax havens, and public relations specialists to handle any potential exposure. It was a machine, Chen says, designed to exploit vulnerabilities of at-risk minors and convert their suffering into obscene profits. The presentation culminates when Angelina announces the creation of the Global Coalition Against Entertainment Trafficking, an international alliance of humanitarian organizations, law enforcement agencies, and governments committed to dismantling similar networks. We will not allow glamour and fame to continue being used as smokescreens for such heinous crimes, she declares. International response, international reactions are immediate and forceful. The UN Secretary-General issues a statement calling for a complete investigation, while human rights organizations worldwide applaud Angelina's courage in exposing the network. In the United States, several congresspeople demand immediate hearings, and in Hollywood, multiple celebrities publish statements distancing themselves from any association with the revealed activities. But the revelations also generate fear. Human rights activists in Asia report threats after their names appear in supporting documents, and several witnesses are moved to safe locations as a precaution. Truth has powerful enemies, Angelina warns, but silence is complicity, and we can no longer allow fear to protect perpetrators while victims continue to suffer. The expanding web. The master file reveals that the network had expansion plans toward Africa and Latin America, with preliminary investments already made in several countries. What we've exposed today, Chen says, is just the tip of the iceberg. This investigation will continue until every connection is revealed and every responsible party faces justice. As the press conference comes to an end, Angelina makes a statement that will resonate for years. To the victims who haven't yet found their voice, I say, we believe you. To the perpetrators who think their power protects them, I warn, justice is patient but relentless. And to the entertainment industry that has allowed this to happen under their very noses, I demand, it's time for a complete cleansing. The aftermath begins. The shockwaves from these revelations will be felt for decades. The network exposed by Angelina Jolie is not just a celebrity scandal, but a window into an underground world where power, fame, and wealth combine to create one of the most despicable forms of human exploitation. And as investigators continue unraveling the global connections, one thing is absolutely clear. This is only the beginning of a revelation that will forever change how we view the intersection of entertainment, power, and global justice. Within hours of the broadcast, Diddy files trends worldwide with over 50 million posts. Major entertainment companies issue emergency statements. Law enforcement agencies in 15 countries announce coordinated investigations, and victim advocacy groups report a surge in calls to their hotlines. The entertainment industry, already reeling from previous scandals, faces its most serious crisis yet, as the world demands answers about how such a network could operate for so long under the radar of authorities and industry insiders alike. The smoking gun documents. As the press conference continues, Angelina reveals even more damning evidence that sends shockwaves through the room. What I'm about to show you, she says, her voice steady despite the magnitude of what she's revealing, are bank records obtained through a joint operation between the UN's Office on Drugs and Crime and financial intelligence units from 7 countries. The documents, projected on multiple screens around the room, show a sophisticated web of shell companies, cryptocurrency transactions, and real estate purchases that paint a picture of an operation far more extensive than initially imagined. Marcus Chen steps forward with a laser pointer, tracing red lines across a world map dotted with financial transactions. Between 2018 and 2023, we documented over 2,400 individual transactions totaling $1.2 billion flowing through this network. The money originated from entertainment ventures, legitimate businesses, and what appear to be protection payments from other industry figures who were being blackmailed. His finger stops at various points on the map: Miami, New York, London, Dubai, Hong Kong, Manila, Bangkok. Each location represents a node in this network, with Combs' organization serving as the central hub. The room erupts in murmurs as Chen reveals that the network had developed its own internal cryptocurrency called VIP Coin, which was used exclusively for transactions involving what the documents euphemistically refer to as premium entertainment services. This wasn't just money laundering, Chen explains. It was the creation of an entirely parallel financial system designed to operate beyond the reach of traditional banking oversight. Victims across continents. Dr. Sarah Martinez, a trauma specialist who has worked with trafficking survivors for over 15 years, presents testimonies that reveal the true scope of the network's reach. We have documented cases spanning 4 continents, she says, her voice heavy with the weight of the stories she's about to share. Victims were recruited not just from Asia, but from Eastern Europe, Central America, and even from within the United States through modeling agencies and talent scouts that served as fronts for the operation. She describes a case study that makes the entire room fall silent. Maria Santos, recruited from a Guatemalan orphanage at age 14, with promises of opportunities in American television. Instead, she was trafficked through Mexico, held in a compound in Los Angeles for 6 months, then transported to events in Las Vegas, Miami, and eventually to private islands in the Caribbean. Her testimony reveals that she recognized several high-profile entertainment figures at these events, including individuals who have publicly associated with Sean Combs. The psychological manipulation tactics used by the network are detailed in clinical reports that Dr. Martinez presents. Victims were subjected to sophisticated grooming techniques that combined false promises of stardom with systematic psychological abuse. They were told they were special, that they were being prepared for exclusive opportunities that would make them famous. Meanwhile, they were isolated from any support systems and made entirely dependent on their captors. The celebrity connection web. Perhaps the most explosive revelation comes when Angelina presents what she calls the association chart, a detailed mapping of how various entertainment industry figures became either willing participants or unwitting facilitators of the network's operations. This chart, she says, holding up a document that looks like an organizational flowchart, shows the degrees of separation between Sean Combs and over 200 individuals in the entertainment industry, politics, and business world. The chart reveals that the network operated through a series of legitimate-seeming entities: music production companies, film financing operations, charitable foundations, and luxury event planning businesses. Many celebrities who attended these events may have been completely unaware of what was happening behind closed doors, Angelina clarifies, but our investigation shows that at least 30 individuals had to have known about the network's true activities, and several actively participated in recruiting or facilitating operations. Chen reveals that the network had developed profiles on potential victims that read like casting sheets: physical descriptions, family backgrounds, psychological assessments, and marketability ratings. They treated human beings like commodities, he says, his voice thick with disgust. Each victim had a file that included photographs, personal information, and what they called client preferences, essentially a catalog of human suffering. The technology infrastructure. The investigation uncovered a sophisticated technological infrastructure that enabled the network to operate across international boundaries with remarkable efficiency. Angelina presents evidence of custom-built communication platforms, encrypted servers located in countries with weak cybercrime laws, and a digital surveillance system that monitored victims' activities 24/7. They didn't just traffic people, explained cybersecurity expert David Kim, who joined the investigation team. They created a complete digital ecosystem to support their operations. Custom apps for clients to browse and select victims, encrypted payment systems, GPS tracking devices surgically implanted in victims, and even deepfake technology to create false identification documents. The network's use of social media for recruitment is particularly chilling. Kim demonstrates how fake modeling agencies and talent scout accounts were used to identify and groom potential victims. They had algorithms that could identify vulnerable young people based on their social media activity: kids from broken homes, those posting about financial difficulties or expressing dreams of fame. The predators would then slide into their DMs with perfectly crafted messages designed to appeal to their specific vulnerabilities. An international law enforcement response. As Angelina's revelations continue, law enforcement agencies around the world begin coordinating their responses in real time. FBI Director Sarah Chen appears via video link to announce that the Bureau is launching Operation Clean Sweep, a coordinated international effort involving agencies from 23 countries. Based on the evidence presented today, she states, we are immediately moving to freeze assets, issue arrest warrants, and coordinate with international partners to dismantle this network completely. Interpol Secretary General Isabella Rodriguez joins the call to announce that red notices have been issued for 47 individuals connected to the network. This is not just an American problem or an Asian problem, she emphasizes. This is a global cancer that requires a global response. We are treating this as the largest international trafficking operation uncovered in the past decade. The response is swift and comprehensive. Within 2 hours of Angelina's press conference, airports in 12 countries report that individuals on the watch list are being detained for questioning. In the Cayman Islands, financial authorities freeze $340 million in accounts linked to the network. In Los Angeles, federal agents raid 3 properties owned by companies connected to Sean Combs. The broader implications. As the full scope of the revelations becomes clear, experts begin analyzing the broader implications for the entertainment industry and global society. Dr. Rebecca Thompson, a specialist in organized crime at Georgetown University, joins the press conference via satellite to provide context. What we're seeing here represents an evolution in how criminal networks operate, she explains. They've taken advantage of globalization, digital technology, and the celebrity culture's obsession with access and exclusivity to create something unprecedented. The network's ability to operate for over a decade raises serious questions about oversight and accountability in the entertainment industry. How does an operation of this magnitude go undetected? Thompson asks. The answer is that it didn't go undetected. It was enabled by a culture of silence, complicity, and willful ignorance that prioritized profit and protection of powerful figures over the safety of vulnerable individuals. A call for systemic change. In her closing statement, Angelina makes an impassioned plea for systemic change that goes beyond prosecuting individual criminals. This network existed because we created conditions that allowed it to flourish, she states. An industry that values access over ethics, that confuses celebrity with immunity, that treats young people as disposable commodities in pursuit of profit. She announces the establishment of the Global Entertainment Ethics Council, a new international body that will work to implement mandatory reporting requirements, victim protection protocols, and industry-wide standards for safeguarding vulnerable individuals. We cannot allow the glamour and excitement of entertainment to continue serving as cover for the exploitation of human beings, she declares. The press conference concludes with Angelina reading the names of 17 victims who have agreed to be publicly identified in order to encourage other survivors to come forward. As each name is read, their photograph appears on screen, not as victims, but as survivors who are reclaiming their identities and their power. To Sean Combs and everyone who enabled this network, Angelina says in her final statement, your time of operating in shadows is over. To the victims who are still trapped, help is coming. And to the world watching, remember that justice delayed is justice denied, but justice served is a victory for all humanity. The aftermath of these revelations will reshape not only the entertainment industry, but global conversations about power, exploitation, and accountability. As investigators continue their work and survivors begin their healing, one thing is certain. The world will never look at celebrity culture the same way again.